Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2024 World Chess Championship match between the champion, Ding Liren from China, and the challenger, Gukesh from India. This is game number 14 out of 14, and if somebody wins today, we have either a retaining world champion or the youngest world chess champion in history. Let's get into it. That's about all I have to say. Now, very quickly, I've actually been talking about a lot of things that are upcoming. Speaking specifically, tomorrow is Chessly 2.0. But I'm also very excited to announce we got a lot of stuff on the way. I'm going on tour. I'm going on tour in Europe in May 2025. So I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to get tickets. Tickets are already available for Brussels, London, and I believe Munich. And we're going to add a few more cities. So see you in Europe. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to invite people on stage. We're going to do live Guess the Elo. It's going to be incredible. That's all I have to say. Listen, folks, it's just a period of a lot of cool stuff coming. You know, we got Chessly on the way. We got a tour now on the way. It's a big thing, you know. Now, it's the final game, and there's a big question as to what type of opening Ding is going to play. Is he going to play something a little bit more solid? Is he going to take some risk? Now, he goes for knight f3. Why does he go for knight f3? Because the last time that and my dog is trying to leave the room because he is not interested in knight f3. He plays knight f3 because the last time that he played knight f3, he won. And after d5, he played c4, which was kind of like a English ready type of thing. And then black responded with, e6 and a pawn push to the d4 square. This time, Ding plays g3. So this is the third or fourth time in this match that we are seeing a ready, which is just kind of showing you that this is the best way to get a game at the top level. Now, Gukesh shows up prepared with an opening idea. Against the ready, g6 is very standard. We saw Ding play this, and I've already talked about this in these recaps. This is the meta strategy because black gets the bishop there, and because black has not developed the knight, black sees the center, so black is trying to go e5. So the best move here, according to the computer, is to go here, and now you play a position of symmetry, and black basically argues, haha, I tricked you into symmetry. You know the copycat game? Like, the way you were undefeated as a child in school is if you just started copying people. It didn't matter who they were. They could be like, stop copying me, I'm stupid. Like, even if they tried to insult themselves and you were like, why are you calling yourself stupid? You win. You guys know this. I mean, half the audience here is like under 10 years old. I'm just kidding. But the comment section for sure. And so, you look at a position like that and you're like, well, maybe symmetry's good. I don't know. Gukesh goes c5 though. He's not interested in symmetry. And he plays like this. We have bishop g2, knight c6. And this is the approach by black where black kind of is like, well, if white plays slowly, I get the whole center. You can't give black the whole center. You can't do this. This is silly. So Ding plays d4, which is the most principled move. Gukesh now plays e6, which is kind of weird because he's not developing his bishop. He's not developing his knight. But the idea becomes very clear very quickly as Ding plays like this. And now Gukesh shows his opening preparation and plays something that has basically never been played before. I've never seen this in my life, ever. And it's very, very cool. Like, again, is Ding going to take a lot of risk or not? It seems that he's going to play a position where he has minimal risk. And he's going to try to put a little bit of pressure and maybe bail the game out into a draw and go to the rapid. That's sort of what it seems like. Like, we haven't seen a game decided in a world championship and a classical in like 20-something years, the final game. So here Gukesh takes on d4, and I'm going to show you his opening idea. It's not to develop the knight to f6. It's also not to play bishop c5, which is by far the most popular move in the position, to immediately put pressure, try to get white into a position like this, where white is going to use this bishop. All very, very, very standard ideas. Gukesh plays knight e7. What? So the point is that he basically wants to be able to have a knight there. He doesn't want white to take and get this typical pressure. Okay, knight e7. Knight e7's never been played at high level, never. Like less than 10 games in total in the database because it's such a weird move. Ding plays a very principled move, plays c4, spends 13 minutes on it. I mean, I guess he could even play e4 here, to be honest. He was probably just deciding what to do. Like, is he going to play for this? Play c4 because some of you might be looking and wondering, isn't this just a free pawn? Yeah, kind of, but you can't take it for multiple reasons, one of which being this move, actually. and the knight is going to get in. You can't really stop anything. Knight d5, there's this nice take, and even queen takes d5, little trick to get the knight into c7, but you don't even have to do that. Yeah, so we get knight d4, queen d4, knight c6, and d4. This is obviously the idea. This is Gukesh's opening preparation. So his opening prep was to not let white get a typical position and replace the knight on c6, which I've never seen before, and play d4. This is the point. And he's going to put the bishop on c5, he's going to castle. All right. Who am I? I mean, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what this is all about. Here's the problem with some of these positions, and here's kind of the problem with some of Gukesh's anti-ready prep in this match. Like the last time that they had a game where Gukesh played the black pieces of a ready, he got a game that was equal according to the computer, but obviously pretty hard to handle, and he got a losing position in like 8 moves. So ready positions are sometimes very equal, but kind of hard to handle. Like look at e3, which is very simple e3. And, you know, if this, you know, white just trades the queens and has 2 bishops and just has a edge, he's just putting the pressure, right? Like, he's just putting the pressure. So, bishop c5. This is the prep. And Ding takes on d4, gets rid of the powerful pawn, and plays knight c3. Kind of a very, very natural move. What's interesting is here, Gukesh spent 7 minutes on bishop c5. There was one game in the database which went e5. This was a game by a strong player from the UK named Jonah Willow, who I believe I've played online a bunch. Strong player, might be international master. And then black developed the bishop to that square and castled, and I think they drew that game. But Gukesh plays a bit more actively. And yeah, and here, after knight b5, Ding has like his best moment so far of this game. He is, as usual, down 30 minutes. It would not be a Ding classical game if he wasn't down 30, 40 minutes in the first half of the game. But honestly, like the position's very easy to play. He has the typical Catalan bishop. There's a bad light squared bishop on the other side. He has a queenside pawn majority, which matters because in the endgame, that pawn majority is going to, you know, promote. The king is here and the king is here. So yeah, I mean, Ding has all the, yeah, I think this is just another opening experiment for Gukesh that did not go the right way. And so here, Ding kind of has many options. He can put the queen even on f3, which is kind of a ridiculous move. I don't know who on earth would play this. But the point is you want to play rook d1, and the queen is, according to Stockfish at least, better than being on e2. But even on e2, it makes perfect sense. And you look at a move like knight d4, you think, oh, the knight, no, honestly, no. No, the trades are good because this bishop is so much better than that one because that black bishop is playing defense and not moving. And if there's a6, well, now you have time to play rook d1, queen e7, and put the knight on d6 potentially. Or just come back, put the queen on e4. You just have a very pleasant edge. Ding thinks for a while and is happy with the queen trade, which is very Ding, to be fair. Like, it is, like, he's like, go ahead and take me. Like, I'm going to get the rook there. He doesn't play queen e2, which I feel like if Gukesh had the white pieces here, he absolutely would be playing queen e2, rook d1. Like, it's just Gukesh. It's just a different playing style. Ding goes here. There is a very cool tactic here, which is bishop takes f2, by the way. Can't take with the rook because you lose your queen. You can take like this, and then there's a fork, and then you give up the bishop, and after e5, you can play a lot of things, even king g1, and after pawn takes rook f4, white is just better, because again, black just can't develop the queen side that easily, and is always going to be lagging behind a little bit. But none of that happens. Gukesh tries to kick the knight out, knight c3, bishop d4, and look, as far as I'm concerned, everything has gone right for Ding. He has a double fianchetto position, he cleared out his center pawns to make his bishops more powerful. Gukesh is going to have to solve this position the way he kind of always solves positions. He is a concrete player. All right, not to be confused with a ceramic player, a marble player. He likes concrete stuff, or wood. You know, he's big into the concrete stuff. He will solve things in a very mechanical way. Like, he's going to put all the pieces on all the right squares, calculate it out, make an accurate pawn break at some moment, and that's how he's going to play. So he plays e5, right? He gives up the d5 square, but the bishop is firmly planted, and the light squared bishop is getting out. And I really think that here he's solving his problems. Knight to d5 is a very natural continuation. The position looks fantastic for white. If bishop b2, queen b2, you know, if black just makes a couple of lazy moves, suddenly white, you know, brings the rook, and then, like, you know, gets f4, and suddenly every piece is alive. Every piece is participating. The bishop on b2 replaced by the queen, which is even more powerful. Like, every piece in the position makes sense. But now Gukesh just plays b5, which is a great move, which is a move that doesn't make any sense visually because it completely weakens this diagonal, but there's nothing there. Ding can't do anything. And, you know, Ding, I think, also played a little bit slowly, sort of a little bit in his style, you know, like his style of the match has been kind of like slowly like massaging a position, and not like trying to immediately put the foot on the neck, as they say. And from this point forward, the game kind of shifts, because I think after b5, Gukesh put something in Ding's head. Gukesh up to this point played good prep, up on time, playing confidently, and Ding spends another 10 minutes here, obviously a bit perplexed by b5, surprised by b5. He can play a lot of ambitious ways. He can put rooks in the center here. He can take on d4, knight takes, try to, play f4, which is a very natural move. Like, to my eye, you're putting a lot of pressure here. If queen d6, you can take. I mean, this is, to me, taking an f4 looks really natural. But Ding spends a long time and goes takes. And knight f4. So Ding has a very powerful knight in the center. In this sequence of moves, Ding breaks two rules that I feel like my coach has told me not to do. Don't move a piece from the center, like, if you don't have to. And also, like, he trades a pawn, which destabilizes the center and opens up the rook. Now, again, I'm not really judging the moves, but this has been Ding the entire match. When he's ready to kill the game into a draw, he's done it. Like, he's done it multiple times. And it's frustrated some of you. It's honestly frustrated me. Because I'm like, but there's still life in the position. But I was letting him take me to the finish line. Fine, he wants to make some draws, no problem. Conserve the energy for the rapid knight f4. This is a draw offer. So Ding is offering a draw. You might be like, what even is this move? The knight's hanging. Yeah, but that knight's hanging. And, the bishops are here. So we're going to get a trade of bishops, we're going to get a trade of knights, we're probably going to trade some pawns, and we're going to get into an endgame. So we have pawn takes f4, bishop c6, bishop b2, queen b2, rook b8, rook d1, the queen moves, and the bishop comes back, and we have a trade. And this is what we get. And, look, this is not totally unexpected. This is the position that we were kind of barreling for anyway. It was likely going to be a draw. Gukesh plays b4, which is a move that makes a lot of sense. He's sort of freezing these pawns, and this is what we call fixing the pawns. The pawns can't really move. You can play a4, but that's why the en passant rule was invented. I would be willing to bet some of you watching this recap who might not follow chess that closely, because we got a big channel here. We attract a big audience. You might not even know about en passant, but that's why that rule was invented, to not allow a pawn to kind of sneak past. Now here, Ding plays the second really, really strange move. Like, knight f4 is not particularly strange, but he didn't have to do any of that. He could have. He's 0.5 here. There's no, I know he doesn't know he's 0.3, 0.5, but this move is not like a winning move for black. But okay, fine, knight f4. But then here he plays a move which basically confused every grandmaster and commentator. I watched the entire world in unison be confused. He played a4. A4 is just trying to get rid of the b pawn, but there's no need. Like, he could have brought a rook or doubled his rooks or even just traded the bishops. Like, he could have traded the pieces. He also, in this position, could have traded the bishops. He could have literally forced the bishop off the board. It can't move forward anywhere. So Ding had multiple times where he could have traded the bishops, but he doesn't, and now he just gives Gukesh a target, and Gukesh just plays an improving move, and now it's minus 0.1, and now Gukesh has the more pleasant position and almost 40 minutes time advantage. So what's he going to do? Gukesh is obviously not going to make a draw easily. Gukesh is going to play. We've seen multiple times in this match, Gukesh is not going to give Ding a draw sometimes. He's just like, I want to play chess. I'm here to play the World Championship. I'm not afraid of anybody. Like, this is even a position a top grandmaster can play against Stockfish. They might lose more than they draw because they're not going to win, but, queen d4, he offers a trade, queen b5. And now, may I unveil the third unbelievable move of the last 10. Ding just gives up the b pawn. He just gives it away. Like, it was under attack, hypothetically, like, technically there's this, but he just like, all right, take it. And I'm going to defend this position. Now, look, we just saw a game previously where it was a 3-on-2 endgame. I don't know if you remember that. It was one of the previous draws. The 3-on-2 rook endgame. Now, this is a draw. Folks, even if white loses 2 pawns to 2 pawns and then has to sacrifice the bishop for the last pawn, the best case scenario here is rook and bishop versus rook. Even that is a freaking draw. If white knows what they're doing, there's a defensive technique and there's a way to try to win the game and put white on the defending side under pressure. But Gukesh is like, okay, I'm going to play g5, bishop d5. Obviously, he's not going to trade the bishop. Rook c1, rook c7. Keep in mind, they're trying to make 40 moves, and they do. So now we have this position where Gukesh is, again, just trying to play g4, f5, etc. Friendly reminder, once again, that even if all the pawns get traded, if somehow we reach a position, right, where f5, rook a3, like even if we get here, and then the bishop is traded for this pawn somehow, I don't know how that would happen, but let's just, say it does happen. Rook and bishop versus rook is still a draw. So Ding just kind of has to defend, and he's defended in this match before. He's defended worse positions, so he's going to shuffle. Gukesh is just going to keep making small improvements. f3, okay. This is a big commitment by Ding. Sometimes you kind of can keep the structure together and not do anything. Another way to defend the structure, especially if the H pawn is traded, if it's just f and g, which it actually does become f and g. To defend this position, you can kind of plant the rook on f4 and try to go for certain fortresses and not let the black king in, rook b4. But folks, we're about to reach the 50th move, and suddenly Ding has 16 minutes versus 69 for Gukesh. It's 1 hour and 9 minutes for the challenger, which is, that's not a lot of time for white. And, white's kind of got a lot of the disadvantages. His king is sort of stuck on the first rank, but Gukesh has to be careful. And what I mean by be careful is, he can play f4, but let's not forget, this is a draw. Even if you have 1 pawn and you're going to try to promote it, you can't. Also, here you'll lose the bishop, but let's just say I don't have that. Let's just say, it's still a draw. It ultimately is still a draw. So Gukesh has to be patient. He's going to wait. He's going to keep asking questions and bleeding the clock, and now Ding has 12 minutes, and now Ding has 9 minutes. I'm saying, he's getting low on time. And here comes Gukesh's king. He's doing everything right. Everything. He's doing everything completely correct. And from this point, let's say, we get rook a4. You can't really rush in with a move like bishop d5 because even this is a draw. It's just a draw. The king can never get close. So Gukesh is going to probably need to, I don't know. He can try to get his bishop to the e4 square. He can attack this bishop enough. If Gukesh gets his bishop to the e4 square, for example, well, then he has some winning chances, right? Because then he's going to get a passed pawn, and then he's going to get some winning chances. And now is the move of the 2024 World Championship. And I don't really know what else to say. I'm going to show you this move. When I saw this move, my heart sank into my stomach. I have a lot of mixed emotions about this move. The move is rook f2. And this machine doesn't even see, it's going to take a second. But the move is rook f2, offering a trade of rooks. And the thing is, this move also offers a trade of bishops. And the endgame is just lost. The endgame is lost. It's lost. It's a king and pawn endgame, which sometimes is a draw. If the white king could get here, it's a draw. If it's black's move in this position, it's a draw because black cannot make any progress. Because king d5, king d, I just follow the king around. But in this endgame, it's opposition. King e3, king e5, we have the same position, but here, I have to do this. And you might have just seen that spoiler because, yeah, Ding resigned. In a position where, of course, he was under pressure. Of course, Gukesh was putting pressure and everything, but Gukesh he didn't have a direct winning plan. He was going to put pressure, obviously, on the clock. And Ding himself voluntarily trades the rooks, which also leads to a bishop trade. Gukesh couldn't compose himself. You should have seen the video. You should go watch the live stream. Gukesh gets up. He's smiling. Can you imagine? You're going to win the world championship out of nowhere. And Gukesh, like a surgeon, trades off the pieces, puts the king in the, which is honestly symbolic because when a game finishes at high level, when a game finishes, The players put the kings in the center on the boards to indicate who won. And the final move of the 2024 World Chess Championship is Gukesh literally putting the king in the center of the board. And he is now the youngest ever World Chess Champion. And the reason why I'm having mixed emotions about this is it happened out of nowhere. It was heading for a draw. There was going to be more games tomorrow. And to lose a World Championship like this is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Like, I still can't fully wrap my... And I don't think I'm going to be the last person. We're going to get insights from Magnus, Hikaru, all the Indian Grandmasters, Anish Giri, who's like honorary Indian Grandmaster, like, Nepo, I'm sure is going to chime in. Absolutely crazy stuff. And congratulations to Gukesh. He is the youngest ever World Chess Champion at 18 years old. And I have a feeling he's going to have a target on his back because a lot of top grandmasters over the last few weeks, if any of you have been watching any recaps, folks have been critical of this match. So if you're a fan of Gukesh, if you're a fan of any other top player, I think we have a really interesting World Championship circuit to come, including Arjun Erigaisi. We may be close to an all-Indian World Championship. Can you imagine? This is crazy stuff. This is absolutely... I cannot believe the final game ended like this. I'm still in shock. And you have to say commiserations to Ding Liren. Like, before I sign off this recap, I have to say, he had a freaking tough year, man. He has been very open and vocal and honest about some of his struggles, and that's admirable because let me tell you, top chess players are not particularly open and honest about mental health struggles, and I think it's important. I try to do it with my own tournaments, and just unbelievable amounts of commiserations. Like, I don't even know what to say. I can't imagine how he feels. Like, my heart hurts. Like, my heart is elated for Gukesh and the millions of fans, and India is about to erupt with chess excitement, if it more than it has already. I can't imagine what it feels like to be Ding like this, I've lost games like this in Title Tuesday, but I've never played on such a stage. So that was the 2024 World Chess Championship, folks. I hope you enjoyed my coverage. And Ding is the former world champ. Congratulations to Gukesh, who now is the world champion. Just sensational. 18 years old. Yeah. What more to say? I mean, I will say some stuff. Tomorrow, Chess League 2.0 comes out. And we've got a tour now, apparently, so that's pretty epic. Look forward to more coverage of top tournaments. We got Champions Chess Tour finale, end of 2024 here. World Rapid and Blitz Championships, and that's all. World Championship is done. I was so ready for a tiebreak, and then this came out of nowhere. Get out of here.